Good morning, I'm Michael from Moat Monster Gaming, and if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. So today I'm here to talk about Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer number 6. So it's the 6 in the 80-part Hachette series. But before I talk about that, just very quickly, today's one came with a little letter, dear customer. Unfortunately, we are experiencing some delays in getting issue 7 to you due to shipping delay. So what it looks like is that the issue 7 is now going to be a week later than it should be. So that means number 7 will arrive on the 8th of November, and then it will carry on from a weekly basis afterwards. So I'm not sure what the delay is, but they've got a delay, and that was tucked inside here. So I found that earlier. And then this one comes with another dice tin, more The Avalanche of Dice Begins, and character sheets. So for the 4 pre-generated characters that they had the character sheets in the first one, now you can milestone them up to level 2. So that's a nice touch. So looking in the book, so this one has got a piece on magic items. We've got character creation, so we've got a bit on leveling up. The species this time is orcs, and then what happens when the rogue, the wizard, the cleric and the fighter all move to 2nd level. So on top of that, we have the Kingdom of Many Arrows, which is like a orc territory. And then finally, we have a very socially based encounter, the Queen of Scars, and it's very good. I've sat there and read through it. So here we have a couple of people doing wizardy stuff by the looks of it. Now, here we have magic items. So the first piece, the only bit of sage advice this time, is a bit on magic items. What I will say is I didn't realise that there were 6 levels of rarity common to legendary and artifact. I'd never seen it like that before for it. I guess I'm just used to rolling in the back of the DM's guide years and years ago. Nice little piece on is it magical? And then this bit's really good. Some explanation on what attunement is and some rules for how attunement works and how your attunement ends. And if anybody has seen the Dungeons & Dragons movie Honor Among Thieves, there's a real big piece with one of the characters trying to attune to a magic item. It's handled, I think it's handled really well in the film, but this really explains it nicely and in lots of detail. So actually I thought that was a really, really good piece in what was otherwise just a page on magic items. So this next bit is leveling up. So it constantly refers to the milestone version of leveling up instead of gaining experience points. A little bit about how your pre-generated characters would move on. So again, this is what the sheets are doing, milestone leveling. It talks about gaining hit points and telling you basically what you roll when you gain your hit points. But this is the one bit that I didn't get. The top tip in the corner is basically telling you to remember to fill in your current amount of gold, your current amount of coins in the money and equipment section. I'm not sure why that's the top tip for leveling up, which is the first time I feel like it's been a bit of an odd top tip. Anyway, so then we have this incredibly awesome picture of some kind of Professor Orc doing kind of some sort of spell, and we have a very little bit on orcs as a species, not necessarily as a playable species. It's in the character creation section, but like the previous elf and dwarf and the other ones, it doesn't actually give you any rules, but I know that's due to come in a later issue. And then it moves on to all the new features for the 4 main classes that we've had so far. So I know the later ones, now some people have pointed me in the right direction. The later ones, that the Bard and the Barbarian and some of the other ones are coming. But here we have a little bit on rogues and their features and what they basically get at second level, a hit point increase, a little bit on sneak attack combos. The wizard talks about picking your arcane tradition. Doesn't actually give you a list of arcane traditions. I'm sure that will come. If not, it is on D&D Beyond. A little bit about, again, your hit point increase, which we've already had on a previous page. A bit on the arcane ward. And here it has a little bit on some new spells that the wizard can learn in the spellbook for the pre-generated character. Priest features, not a lot going on here, talks about channel divinity. And then my favourite, turn undead. And then here we have a little bit on preserving life. And then the fighter, more fighter features. And then a little bit on the action surge and attack, dash, disengage, dodge, shove. I don't know how they're going to fit everything that the player characters generally get at level 3 into this Parkwork, because obviously at level 3 everybody kind of really levels up massively and become almost different characters. So here we have a piece on the Kingdom of Many Arrows, which I hadn't heard of before, but it is an area. It is an area in the Sword Mountains where the orcs have basically brokered a peace and now live up there, hoping just to be left on their own from all their neighbours. So this was quite a nice little piece. Again, I've liked all these lore sections, mainly because where I tend to play Ravenloft or Dark Sun more, I don't know Forgotten Realms as much as I probably should do, especially because I've got quite a few of the books. So this was quite nice, learning about the Kingdom of Many Arrows and learning about their king as well, who actually seemed like quite a cool fella. And then we have the most important bit, the bit that I look forward to each week. We have the encounter. So this one is the Queen of Scars. That's not the Queen. We have the Queen of Scars, and basically the town master's brother turns up with a sack of treasure just as everyone's throwing a party, and he's basically saying that he has bested all sorts of creatures and dungeons to get this treasure, and in reality he hasn't. So it's very, very social. So it starts with the feast. The party is happening with various different people at it. And it talks a lot about how you should role play and you shouldn't be nervous. And you just have to kind of make it relax and make it up as you go along. So it talks about the different people that are in the town and at the feast. So it principally talks about the town master and his brother, who's just turned up. He's a little bit of a shady character. And then you'll have a talk with them anyway at the feast. And then orcs turn up and the whole town gets surrounded by orcs. And this time I won't spoil it, but as I have done the previous ones, but the orcs surround the town, and then the Queen of Scars gives the players a series of choices, which can lead to a variety of different outcomes. One of the outcomes does mean that they can get a magic item, a lesser orc stone, which I thought was quite handy. And at the very end of it, we have the stat blocks for the orc, and we have the stat blocks for a human thug, because the town master's brother, if he does end up in combat, should be running these stats. So thank you very much. There won't be one next week because it will be delayed. Thank you very much for watching.